Welcome back to Strength Cultures Podcast, number one in the hearts, number one in the charts. Just quickly checking in before the start of this podcast to let you know that we are now offering the first month on the training app is free, and that is exclusive to our podcast listeners. Inside our training app, we have a bunch of programs and programming streams, things like power building for those looking to get jacked, get strong, but also lose some weight and actually train with some high volume in the gym. We also have power lifting, high and moderate frequency, as well as a bunch of strength and conditioning or hybrid style programs. As well as all the programs, we also have a bunch of educational videos, things like anatomy, nutrition, lifestyle, recovery. All of these things are built into the app to make sure that you are equipped with the understanding and knowledge needed to continue to push your training past your initial limits. And I just want to let you know that the entire experience is completely free. Free programming, free education, and free access to us in the Discord for form check and any questions you have related to training. Use the code PODCAST through the first link down below. Otherwise, let's get into the show. We've got Angus Bradley back for the fourth time.
Yes.
What's 4 of 85 as a percentage?
Hey, Siri.
5. I think it's 5%. You've been part of
5% of
I reckon
episodes.
you've been part of 5% of our episodes.
But if this episode goes to my usual standard and then I can get one more appearance on, then I can own 50% of the real estate in your top 10.
In the top 10 7-day downloads.
That's the goal that I came down here with.
Absolutely. I feel like we can get you in there.
Seminar was an afterthought. The number one goal was just that top 10 spot. Again.
Yeah, seminar's a means to an end. I needed an excuse to come down.
Are we claiming your spot with the muscle duck?
Yeah, I've got to take that one.
So as a
my numbers show I can hang if you isolate us as variables in the equation.
Yeah, sports science. We're not talking about sports science. No. What we're talking about is you're saying you're looking for a podcast host.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I just had this moment. A lot of people who are fans of this show also would have been listeners of the High Performance podcast back in its glory days, and then. Obviously, Oscar was just my brother and co-host, was the main person responsible for all the organizational aspects, the logistics of it. He got married, had a kid, and bought a house all in the same year, and things just got really serious for him. And like the frustrating thing for me in hindsight was like I managed to monetize the podcast after Oscar had sort of left it. So it would have been one of those things where he could have made the space for it, but I feel like him not being around for that process, he struggled to believe in that side of it sort of. And then, you know, same as when all the members had left the Smashing Pumpkins and it was just Billy Corgan. People were like, it's not really the Smashing Pumpkins anymore. I'm like, is this still the High Performance podcast? But I've come full circle with it. I'm like, nah, it is still going. It's just going to pivot in a bit of a new direction. And I was kind of just keeping it going out of this sense of obligation, whereas it really wasn't something that I felt like I was attacking with like the right sort of energy and the right sort of ambition. Whereas now, especially moving forward from this point with a lot of the new content that's coming out, it will sort of fit in a lot better. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of different energy coming through the High Performance podcast.
So are you going to rebrand it?
No, it won't be rebranded because, like I said, it means a lot to me, and it's important that the High Performance podcast continues on, just so that anyone who was around from the start will remember that phase. Yeah, and it's just going to be a legacy of that.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah!
How many episodes have you done?
Like over 350, because you know everyone who's done 100 podcast episodes, they love quoting that stat. We're like, well, if you've done 10 episodes, you're a 1%. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, the standards are just so low. And I've said this for a while with a lot of different forms of content creation. It's like, decide you got to do it for 2 years and then assess how it's going. Yeah. With my band, with the podcast and stuff like that, it's just always held true. Like, your first 100 episodes, you're doing nothing.
Yeah, we're doing nothing.
We're doing nothing.
We're at 85. And that wraps up today's episode. Thank you very much.
How many episodes of Quantum Lifting?
About, I think just under 100, yeah.
Also, can you state on record how hard I was pestering you to bring back the podcast as well in the break between Quantum Lifting and this?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, someone's listening to side trend.
It's not even side.
Yeah,
shit hard.
Sorry, you probably didn't hear that through the speakers, but someone just dropped a trash beat. I think you did. We always wanted to do it. We just never had COVID was COVID. COVID fucking sucked. Like, it was shit house for a lot of things. But I'm glad we've brought it back. It would be so good once we passed 100 and we're in that.
It's so valuable having a long format version of content where you can express yourself. Like just having a pumping social media account, that's one thing. But then being able to leverage longer form content over the top of that is just like fucking phenomenal in my opinion.
Absolutely. Are we going to pause this podcast and turn that fucking music off?
I'm holding right now. Fuck me.
Just the intensity of the room. Just
I felt really anxious. I was
walls
like,
were coming in.
And we're back after that small intermission there. Yes. No, I think longer format content, I think across the board, I think longer format content actually builds a community. Like, I don't think, like, TikTok, if you just had TikTok and it was fucking 20-second shorts and all of this sort of stuff, like, I don't feel like you're ever going to build what most people want to be able to take long term, or like what that, yeah.
Yeah, how I see it is like social media platforms are like your soapbox to shout off, and it can feel really good when you're getting a lot of traction on those platforms. But then when I was reflecting on my own consumer behavior, because you get like 1,000 likes on a post, you're like, oh fuck, people worship me. But then I think about my own consumer behavior when I'm just scrolling through socials. I'll double tap shit without even giving it a second thought. Whereas for me, anyone that's consuming an hour of me just yakking in their ears on like a weekly podcast
that means
or
something, yeah.
longer format YouTube video, it's like, oh, those people actually give a fuck about me. And I think it's reflected in like where a lot of the business comes from as well, like making, as far as like per consumer, a lot more sales and a lot more revenue through the longer format content. Whereas I feel like a lot of people get disheartened because they'll get good traction on social media, but then they'll go to start a YouTube channel. They're like, oh, I only got like 100 views. I'm like, that's 100 people who genuinely give a fuck about you versus like 500 people who are like almost ambivalent to your existence.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you see those little reels and shit that go like semi-viral and you might get like 30,000 views or something on it, and it just reflects with absolutely nothing. Yeah. Or you make a good story and you get 7 people respond to it and like all that. It's just like, yeah. You can get lost in the sauce of these.
The urge to go viral as well is just the dumbest thing from a business perspective as well. Because if you get like 10K new followers off a reel, one, if you're in fitness, you've definitely gone outside your niche, but that's another 10,000 cunts that you actually have to keep engaged and entertained for another 6 to 12 months before they trust you enough to actually make a purchase. And not that that's the sole goal of social media. Like ultimately it is just a tool for brand awareness and a way to connect and share ideas. But I feel like from a business perspective, so many people have it so backwards with the social media side of things and content creation as a whole.
What is it with the Grant Fowler was doing like the 315-pound kneeling jumps, and he got shared on like Sports Center or some shit like that.
Oh wow!
And he got I don't know, like 15K followers in like a very short period of time, and people start commenting on his post like, fucking use smaller words, bro. I can't read this shit. It's like, what? It's like, man, this is not what I write. Like, this is not. I've never been about doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
he just did something sick. People
then he
jumped
goes on
on
his
it, and then
esoteric
it's all
training rants, and people are like, "What? Where's the kneeling barbell jumps?"
Yeah. Where's the highlight reel? So what's the news, Angus? What have you been up to?
Just been doing more of the same really, but I feel like last time I checked in with you guys, I was really just like getting dragged along by all of the momentum, whereas now for the first time I feel like I've got my nose out in front of it. I know what I'm trying to do, the direction I'm trying to take things, rather than just taking whatever opportunities are presented to me. And that being like from the education side of things, just continuously working on my mentorship program. And then from the training side of things, moving away from one-to-one training, I still do a little bit of that just with people who interest me or people who I really want to work with. But then for the first time in my life, trying to come up with something that resembles a training system that just serves people en masse. And yeah, just focusing as a trainer on like, developing highly individualized programming, and then just almost going to the complete sort of opposite. Couple of extra seminars thrown in there, always trying to level up the content creation side of things, hoping to get into a little bit of YouTube over the next couple of months.
YouTube?
Yeah, making a run at it finally. I was just talking to you because we've sort of discussed the value of longer format content and just the flexibility of YouTube. I think it'd be very, very enjoyable, and just another format of redistribution of podcast content.
YouTube is the dog bowl of social media, I think, in terms of comments.
There's some fucked comments.
It's just, I don't know, the anonymity on YouTube just seems to be so much higher than any of the other. Although I'm not on Twitter. Apparently Twitter's pretty bad. You used to be on Twitter.
I think the nature of Twitter is it's just an angry place where people just go against each other and butt heads, and it's almost like it's just the vibe of it. From what I hear, I've literally never been on it, but that's all I hear about it.
No, I went on Twitter for like politics and world news, and that was bad. Yeah, no. That was,
The more you know.
I don't know. The more you know,
less I know, the better.
I've gone through waves. I'm like, oh, maybe it's time to look more into the world.
It seems like
And I think that those periods of time have correlated with very just downturns in my mental health. So I've now gone with the ignorance is bliss route. Works quite well for me.
It honestly seems like there's no lay people or consumers on the Twitter side of things with fitness. Like, it's literally just S&C coaches.
Oh, really?
No one else.
Yeah.
Like, none of the people.
It's an echo chamber.
Yeah.
And it's
What's
all
an
old
echo? I feel like
What is an
I don't know
echo
what an
chamber?
echo
LinkedIn
chamber is.
spec.
It's all old heads as well. It's all like, I feel like it's all college.
Boyle.
It's all like US college old heads on Twitter. Like all the Sorenex.
No, but
I
it's
feel
like
that's-
Mike Boyle will
Dave.
say something, and then there's like tens of thousands of 20 to 25-year-old S&C coaches tearing their hair out over it. It's like, what did you expect Mike Boyle to think about this?
Yeah,
Why don't you
yeah.
stop asking him for his opinion?
Yeah, no one's asking
they're
fucking
out
Rip.
there.
I know they're different, but like no one's asking Ripto for his opinion.
I see. I have time. I have a lot of time for Ripito, and I'm so apologetic on his behalf purely because he was the first sort of decent strength coach that I got into. Decent, however you want to sort of contextualize.
Starting strength.
Yeah. I just remember year 11, my mate came in. We were all running the Simply Shredded bro splits. He's like, I found this crazy program on 4chan. You do the compound lifts 3 times a week.
Literally the
You just add
fucking
2.5
blueprint.
kilos every single week, and you're down a gallon of milk, so you know you'll be putting on weight.
Go mad, baby.
It's crazy.
That was exactly it. It was a Simply Shredded template or bodybuilding.com, one of the two, and then you find starting strength through a forum.
That was our first summer
was
of partying as well. So
literally
he'd show up to pre-drinks with the back end of his gallon of milk and a bottle of Kahlua.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Fucking hell.
Imagine throwing a couple of tequilas on top of that.
But
Oh.
that bulk, like that set him up for the rest of his life. He's never had to.
He's still riding those- he's still
Like,
riding that fucking surplus.
It's crazy.
He's still recomping.
It's insane.
He just went hard, and then now he's been recomping for 20 years.
How do you reckon any of us would go on a gallon of milk a day? We were talking about our gut health prior.
I'd do all right. I can slam some milk. I wouldn't get to a gallon. I'd be able to. I reckon I could handle the most milk and tolerate it out of
It's
us.
4 liters a day. I'll be able to drink 4 liters of fucking water a day.
It's a lot of liquid.
Let's go milk.
I could do 2 liters.
I would be a terrible state of sounds and smells.
Bit of diced onion in there
Yeah.
as well.
Oh,
I remember
Call
once
it a day.
when I was right in the fucking Mark Ripperto
Oh, yeah.
thing. And it's like I had my foray into starting strength, and then someone was like, "Oh, like I'm lactose intolerant. What do I do?" And he's like, "I don't know, like a pound of yogurt or some shit like that, or like I don't know, 2 dozen eggs." Like it just has to be something. Like it has to be something
Yeah,
extreme. It
yeah.
can't just be like, "Oh, just eat more food." Like
Also, just his relationship with Nassim Taleb gets me going so much because as far as like unpredictable, complex, dynamic system, like their worldviews almost seem polar opposites.
Yeah,
I feel like if Nassim Taleb understood a little bit more about lifting weights, he'd be a little bit more offside with Mark Ripperto, but
Why are they friends?
they are buds. They like ride
Really?
around in the car together.
The first time I saw
No
that
way.
photo, bro, this photo is the funniest thing you'll ever fucking. Angus posted a meme with it. And I could not believe my eyes.
one of my favourite
because
pieces of content
he
I've
talks
made.
about barbell training in fucking in Anti-Fragile or one of his books. I don't know which one it was, and it's like he lifts. I don't know how he lifts, but he lifts. And it's
I've
just like,
seen that one.
it's
Yeah.
just- they're fucking boys.
Look at the sweater over his shoulders.
They're actually boys.
What the hell?
Surely, if Ripto's boys with Taleb, you could get in there.
Get in. We're
You could
ignoring all the
definitely-
data and adding 2.5 kilos to last week's.
Yeah, because I was like, how do I come up with a bit that sort of encapsulates the both of it?
How
Because
are
I
you
sort of
so
see him
good
as-
at making fucking short content? Like it's
It's a muscle, bro.
It is a muscle. It's a muscle. As Jacob's learning, like Jacob, that was me, but the RPE meme was that was collaborative.
Oh, that one that went
That was
super viral.
Sometimes I just think about that meme and I start laughing to
Which
myself.
meme was it? Which one was
The
it?
video. It's not a meme. The video one we're talking about.
Yeah,
Like
when I-
RPE versus percentage-based coaches. Like,
And it's like the RPE guys just like loving life, like
Happy
just
Go
like
Lucky.
singing a happy
Yeah.
song, and then
by
the,
Maroon 5.
and then the guy that's programming percentages is like a sweaty mess.
sweating like
I haven't seen it. I saw this one the other day, and that was fucking unbelievable.
What the original meme of that was, it was someone using Adobe Photoshop for the Maroon 5 side of things versus using Adobe Illustrator. Whereas like, you know, to get something that's actually usable out of Adobe Illustrator versus Photoshop. And yeah, my mate just showed me the meme format. And I knew that it was such a funny meme format in of itself. You could do anything with it and it's hilarious. And I just knew it would go well because it's a hard meme to reproduce because you have to have video editing skills. So this is a bit of a tip for anyone who wants their memes to do well. Anything that's a video-based meme will be less saturated just by the fact that it's harder to reproduce. Whereas like any other photo based meme base that is genuinely good will just get instantly oversaturated because it's just way too easy to reproduce.
Just change the copy on top.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hilarious.
Is it on General Physical Prep or your page?
Yeah, general physical preparation.
Oh,
And like meme-based marketing.
I started. I've had my first. I was nervous to post my first meme. Me and Jacob and I were going back and forth, and I was like, I'm about to post it. Like, and he's like, you just got to believe. And I was like, fucking oath.
I was Miss Reed helping you.
Because I went to Angus. I said, how the hell do you make all these memes?
You got to be feeling yourself because there is nothing more crushing than when you think you're being funny and people are like, what do you mean?
Well, I sent it to Jacob, and he was like, haha, yeah, I did that assignment, and I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
because everyone's
people
done
get
that
this.
stupid bloody assignment.
The fucking 10K likes on it.
Crazy.
Blow up.
But then, like, when you know you've really tickled, like, niche humor is when it's got more shares and, like, private DMs than likes, because that's the Ziz one. And again, because it is all, so many people, like, pass the Ziz thing, but it's just such a great throwback for everyone that was around.
Mate, he's still here.
King.
He's still here. If you enjoy the way in which we view and talk about training, I'm going to assume that you'd probably also enjoy the programming and the strategies we use for our clients and athletes here at Strength Culture. You can get free access to all of our programs by using the code podcast through the first link down below, as well as a whole bunch of educational videos where we help you understand and better apply the things that we talk about in the podcast. Again, first link down below, podcast as the code, and your first month is completely free. Your GPP thing seems to be blowing up a little bit. I saw you had a bit of a flex and a bit of an ego, and you're like, yeah, I'll get more reach than your bloody marketing.
Nah, because I like to pop off about business coach and they're like, oh, what does this guy fucking know about business? I'm like, well, I have a geezer in my top funnel. Top funnel. I only learned what a top funnel was like 2 weeks ago. Turns out I got the biggest top funnel in town. Excuse me. I didn't even know I made one.
Hang on, and I'm also gonna. Can you talk us through hating on sales? Like this idea that objection handling. This idea of objection handling.
It's fucking gross.
Yeah, because I feel like you cop some heat for the idea, and I hate that the high horse of that everything's sales.
Oh, sales coaches are here to save the world.
Yeah.
Do you know the turnover rate in this? Do you know 90% of trainers are out of the industry in the first 6 months? And to that, I say good fucking riddance. Anytime I bring this up, that like sales is not the show, these sales coaches come out and they're like, yeah, but client check-ins, like that's sales. Convincing your client to do the exercise, that's sales. I'm like, well, if that's just your worldview and your lens for everything, then it's going to be impossible to have a discussion with you, because they also simultaneously hold this belief that you can be good at the training and that you can be good at the check-ins without being good at the sales. I'm like, so if it's all the same thing, then you can acquire this skill set from anywhere, yet people clearly have this deficit, so it is a separate thing. And it is true as well that I'm just not that comfortable with the sales process, because I've had a bunch of funny experiences with it throughout my life. My dad is a toilet paper salesman for a living. I know about sales. And I just think that marketing is the show. It's like, put it in front of people, generate awareness. If you have something that's good and you can connect with people, people will consume it.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel really comfortable with. I really hate this notion of isolating someone and essentially bullying them or convincing them to sign up for something that they don't want to be a part of. I also think that there are secondary knock-on effects into your business where you've just got this revolving door of clientele.
That's the
because they're in and out with 4 to 6 weeks, and you're like, how bad do you want it? And they're like, I didn't want it, remember?
I literally didn't. You forced me to do this. And you see it, and I'll be the first to say, I'm not that good at sales. I think most of us can probably say that we're just not that good at sales. But like, what we like to think is, we put our ideas out there. We talk about what we do. We show what we do with our clients, and hopefully then people want to come along for the ride. But like the people who are great at sales, they can get any Joe Blow off the street to come into their funnel, but then the only way that really works is it's a revolving door. Like you're not going to work with people most likely over a longer term. Whereas us, it's like, yeah, we might struggle to get you in the door, but once you're here, hopefully you stay for a while because you actually genuinely want to be here. Like,
and it becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy because I have no doubt that then it feels like a sales process. Then when they're like, how many sets of squats have I got to do to get this summer physique? And you're like, fuck.
You literally have to sell it to them. They never want to do them in the first place.
Yeah. Whereas if someone's hit you up, it is so much easier to put them back on and be like, you said you wanted this thing,
That's
man.
it. Like, for us,
and they
man,
are those people.
If our clients don't want to do their squats, like, fair enough, bro. These are your, like, I'll try to push you along the way. But at the end of the day, like, this is what you said you wanted to do. We're not trying to force you to do anything. Like,
I don't know. Don't let him off the phone without a no. That was when I first heard that. I was like, yeah.
it's all
the guy's like, it's like, so I remember the first phone call I had, and I had like the questions from it. And the guy's like, yeah, I can't afford it right now. I'm like, oh, gee, bro, take it easy. I was like, fuck. And I'm like, I just couldn't do the
blue. Speak to my partner. Fair enough, bro. You can do that. That's a pretty reasonable thing to want to do. I don't know. Like,
what? Cool. What? You can't make a decision for yourself? Like, it's like, what are you going to do?
You don't wear the pants?
Yeah. He's got to put it on there. Make him feel
fully
shit.
shame him. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the same
like, what
story
an
with
intro.
them every single fucking time. Just always, it's like sales is everything. I'm just like, well.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't agree.
Marketing's for sick cunts, sales is for cucks.
All right.
Nice.
That's a soundbite.
That's it, man. Tell it. Fucking know about nuance. That's it. That's the soundbite.
Like hot chick at
one
the club,
hard line.
That's marketing. She positioned herself, and everyone's just flocking. Versus that desperate guy who's gone up to every chick within the first half an hour of being there.
Wow,
I missed that.
I didn't hear that.
What did you say there? Repeat that.
So marketing is like the hot chick in the club. She's positioned herself. Everyone's just flocking to it because it's an amazing product and there's an awareness of it and it's in the right spot. Versus sales is that randy guy that's gone up to every girl in the club within the first half hour and everyone's like, there's the sex pest.
So what you're saying is I'm the hot chick. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot chicks with huge top funnels.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then Randy's like wearing has that certain haircut. He's wearing like fucking
Big
sunglasses.
greasy.
Yeah, big greasy.
Bit crazy.
Yeah, this goes Paco Rabanne 1 million. Mum's told him he's stolen $1 million bucks.
About one
Woody won't be happy with that. Woody won't be happy. Woody loves Paco Rabanne.
Did he rock $1 million?
Yeah, I used to. I don't know. I just ran out and I didn't replenish.
Yeah, look,
the
that happened to
stuff.
me too. But it's great. It's a good scent.
It's a good scent.
Good scent for Randy.
Just spray it on your junk.
Always.
It's top 5 Netflix and chill scents. What did we say? It's 1 million.
There's
Chanel Bleu,
Dior Sauvage.
Paco de Gio, Sauvage. We got one more to fit in there.
One more.
I don't know any of these.
There's old school throwback
Probably
$30
a
bottle,
YSL.
or you get
Or
jupe.
CK.
You get a jupe, man. CK1. You can't go wrong with CK1.
That's it. CK1.
Links Africa. That would be one. Woodford also called you out because you're not getting a tattoo of strength culture.
I am. Yeah, I told you to send me the dimensions.
Are you actually?
I had to stop myself.
He fucking spits his coffee.
There was no Woody had there needs to be bets involved. Like you were like, I'll get one. Like,
Can I explain my thought process when he
fucking
unveiled the tattoo? My instant knee-jerk reaction was to book in a tattoo. But I was like, no. I was like, that's the doggest move ever. I have to genuinely wait to let his tattoo air out because I don't want it to be this thing.
You don't want to
I think
saturate
it's legendary what he did. I think Woody is a legend of the game. Absolutely. And I'm just giving him his space to air out. I'll get my strength culture tat when I'm in.
What are you going to get?
What do you want?
I don't know. What
on your chest, bro.
Throw some
bro,
ideas at me. I really like this.
The new one.
We've got our whole branding catalogue. If you want to give it to you, we've got multiple.
There's the OG eagle. What's that quote? It's like you can't soar like a turkey when you're surrounded by.
you don't expect to soar like an eagle if you're surrounded by turkeys.
Yeah, I might get even just that would be because it seems like a little bit cringe and motivational, but like knowing where it came from
With an American bald eagle on the back of it. A big full back tat.
Yeah, that trip to the States had a big impact on you, didn't it?
Absolutely.
He's still running that trip.
Fucking know.
I love how like the thought for us, like we would like. I don't think any of us would ever get a strength culture tattoo. But Angus like, yeah, I'm getting one next week.
The thing is, though, I've already got shit tattoos, so. Sorry, no. I'm just saying. I don't have this like pristine canvas to protect. Like my first tattoo, it was the guy's first professional tattoo, and it's so bad that people don't even know what it is.
All right.
You just don't tell anyone.
So what are you going to... So where? How big? Location? What's the landmark that we get? Where do we...
I liked Woody's placement. On
the quad?
Yeah, I've got bigger quads than Woody as well. So
Hear that, Woody?
again, just that, but about 10% bigger. Probably match up really nicely.
Yeah, he went the size of an orange. Just an orange here on the quad.
I honestly thought he was going to
that what he
place it
took
in the
in
midst of
and present-
everything else. That he's just like, nah, fuck it, slap it right in the middle of my quad.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to get push-pull-run under it.
That was the best part. We love the push-pull-run font
Like,
as
it was
well.
really
It's very
amazing.
right, it's very
Yeah.
weird. Such good
Didn't you
font.
listen? Push-pull run saved his life, man.
No, it is that. He said, I don't want to say it saved my life,
But it basically
it saved my life.
Yeah. I will literally mop the floor with him in push-pull.
I was going to say,
I can't wait.
can we publicly say that you're in push-pull-run too?
Yeah, you can publicly reserve my spot on the podium as well.
Oh.
And you can fix up that Briggs form, just tune it a little bit.
Yeah,
for
we
your
are
boy.
tuning that a little bit. What do you reckon you'll squat?
gassing?
Oh, sorry, deadlift, bench, and run. What do you?
At least 220 deadlift without training, coming for the 120 bench.
That's right.
No,
Explain your approach.
This is my approach.
It's a GPP.
Everyone fucked it. The deadlift, it's the biggest distraction for the whole thing, especially if you have a history of strength training. Because it's like you just thrashing your hips to get like another 5 to 10 kilos on your deadlift versus there's so much low hanging fruit with that run. I think I can just accumulate so much more running volume if I just piss off the deadlifting. Well, I'm going to be GPPing myself through it anyway.
Nah, for someone
Anyone
as
who's on
anti-fragile as
GPP
you, I
knows
was not
there's no
expecting that
deadlifts in the
answer.
program.
You obviously don't know how the sport works, mate.
Nah.
Half of it is powerlifting.
But from what I can tell, you don't have anyone under 80 kilos who can
He's
pull
moving some
over
numbers.
200,
He's-
bench what I can.
What do you weigh?
He weighs 77 kilos, man. He's strong.
What do you weigh?
He weighs 77 kilos.
77.
I thought he
Oh,
weighed like
I'm
80.
a whip it, man.
I thought he weighed like 88 or something.
I'm wearing XLs and I'm like an underweight BMI.
You're
I'm all
77
frame.
kilos.
Yes. I am just a
All right.
compressed axial
talking now.
skeleton.
No, all right. Can you pull 220 on a stiff bar?
I'll pull 220 now.
We were honestly.
I'll pull up Rex
would
tomorrow.
you would have been like the third lightest male. There was like a handful between 75 and 80 kilos. Everyone else was over 80. So you'd be one of the lightest. And I don't think any of those guys pulled.
They weren't
220.
pulling significant. No, they weren't.
They were pulling
no,
220.
like
210. There was a
205,
210 in that weight
210.
range. But 220 would be the biggest. most
Heaviest
likely.
bench was like.
What did Chan Lee deadlift?
That was like 210, 205.
Here's the other thing. I'm heading to Europe in 2 weeks. I'm going into summer weather, which is phenomenal for your running training. You're heading into winter. It's going to be early. It'll be cold. You're like, oh,
I've got one more. What do you reckon you could run a mile in?
I have no idea, but I have a massive history of aerobic training. Come from a family of strong aerobic athletes.
You've got that base.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And the aerobic base, because I've seen, same as like when you've been strength training for years, you see someone go their first foray into strength training. It's just an absolute joke to you. It's the same when people get into aerobic activities.
All right. Maybe you will.
Dark horse.
Dark horse. I think the stiff
I
bar
want
is
to be
going to get him,
taken
though.
seriously.
I think the stiff bar is going to get you.
Yeah, so that's the thing, because I pulled 240, but that was like bumpers and a noodle bar.
Look,
it's a complete, I fully will wear that. That's why just shave 20 kilos off that deadlift.
Just give us 2 working sets of deadlifts a week. Don't do this whole I'm not
No.
going to deadlift. 2 working sets of deadlifts.
How about no? He's dying.
How about forget the podium?
I got a double body weight clean I need. I'm not going to hit double body weight, but I want to get up to like proper 140 kilo clean and jerk. A little bit more on the clean would be nice. That'll be my deadlift training. I'm essentially just doing speed work.
See how we go. See if the proof's in the pudding. See how good this GPP program is.
And that's kind of been the theme of it, because I was like, honestly, it's another great flex. Like, I got my state master's medal for the 4x100 relay. Run fucking 9 meters a second, 2 weeks into sprinting. Whoopsie. And then podium at GPP. It's the best marketing ever.
All right. The GPP.
Thank you for providing a platform for me to express my generally physically preparedness.
Well, it's going to be tested on the day. If you can GPP your way to the podium of push-pull-run, I'll be impressed.
What do you reckon I got with those numbers, like 120 bench, 220 deadlift? Ballpark the run for me.
Probably like.
You'd have to run a sub-6. You'd have to.
easy.
Wait,
easy.
nah. Sub
I
530,
won't book a ticket
honestly.
home if I'm running over 6. Like you won't. You'll be. I haven't heard from Angus in weeks. What's the go?
If Angus is lifting that and only does sub 6, they're not winning anything.
Correct.
I also need Craig to develop some sort of chronic injury throughout
Craig
this
doing
prep.
it again?
Nah, it's not.
Craig's a flying. He's not going to fly. next
So he
time.
wants to pull 300.
Thanks,
like
Craig.
95.
But there's other people, so you got other people to worry about other than
I think
Craig.
you're going to have I think Charlie will win the next one.
I've identified him as a threat.
Because if he just goes back to sumo all of a sudden.
He'll add 30 kilos to what he hit.
Yeah.
On his deadlift. Get a bit better at running. Sorted.
Yeah.
Is he training when he's in Greece? Nah, he won't.
Don't
You reckon
think
did he get
so.
2 sessions a week?
Deuce wants to compete at nationals.
I think Deuce will. We'll see what.
So
They can only have one person
Charlie's got a
in the
chip on his
household
shoulder,
with
so-
a comp booked at a time.
Oh no, I think it's just Charlie's more likely to kick it back, whereas Deuce will probably be like, let's keep the training going.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And all power to him if he wants to. I probably would, if I went to Europe, I wouldn't train.
It's all right. I'll send him a few messages. Charlie's got a big chip on his shoulder for push-pull run too. So
Don't make him angry. Don't.
no.
Forget
I'll
I said any
fucking-
of this
I'll do
about
it,
Charlie.
He can do some jogging
It's good
in Europe.
He'll jog. He'll go for a couple of hours. Yeah.
I'm also gonna get the Kipchoge fours or whatever the ones they had to bloody ban.
you're gonna still
when he was
play it.
doing that Nike commercial.
The canoes.
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. Keanu's? Nah. All right. This is good. This is good. I like this.
I like big claims with some validity to them. I hate when people talk big talk, but there's not much behind it. I rate that there's something to it. There's something to the claims. Except for the fact you're not going to deadlift. We'll see what happens.
Mate, push, pull, swim. I'll take the whole thing.
we've banned swimming of that.
We're not aquatic.
You got to
not
get
aquatic.
this coffee out at some point during this podcast.
We're not swimming.
No, but something
We're not
I heard
responsible for
thrown
people
out there,
drowning.
and I want it to be. I would love it if you just ran an event like this. This is a request. I plead with you. The Choctathlon. I think
Yeah.
Jack Edwards was sending you
Yeah.
some suggestions.
Jack Edwards has sent a few. He put one up yesterday.
I want to, something because
That's Jamie's wheelhouse
me and
here.
Oscar we wanted to do a heavyweight pentathlon. So I think we're doing like 60-meter sprint, overhead toss, some variation of the ollie lifts. Can't remember what we had in there. Never came to fruition, but
Are you going to learn ollie lifting?
Yeah, well, I need to. If Jack Edwards and fucking Angus are involved in it, I have to. This is a new one: the push pull clean snatch 60-meter overhead throw comp.
What?
Someone goes push pull run 2.0 since it's a Jack Edwards.
Wait, line them up again. The push pull,
Push,
so bench,
pull.
deadlift,
Clean snatch,
clean and snatch.
clean and snatch.
Wow, all right, yep.
A 60-meter sprint and an overhead throw comp.
I think you could win this.
What's
This-
the overhead throw?
I don't know. Have you seen Jack Edwards?
no, yeah, Jack, we need to do something about him. He's a problem. He's Australian Blaine McConnell.
Yeah, it's like 95 kilos fucking shredded. That 180 kilo easy front squat. He put up in
he put in the
Like
Discord.
runs
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mid tens,
Nah.
power clean 140 for reps like it's going out of fashion.
Yeah, but what's he
front
bench?
squat's heavier than most weightlifters his weight.
What's he bench?
More than you think. Like
There's got to be something.
he's got crazy hench upper body.
his arm.
Yeah, but
No,
what's his
Olympic
weaknesses?
try. What's his
No,
Olympic try
weaknesses.
time? Like, we'll find something. We'll find something.
I would say no. The only thing that I don't know if he can do is swim or endurance stuff. But anything,
put him in the water then.
Honestly, even as 100 meter, whatever his event was, he would still maul everyone in the 1.6 we've got.
I reckon he'll be all right. He'll do all right.
Well, tell him to fly down.
I almost hit him up.
How
But,
longer
yeah.
distances?
He'll probably listen to this and say, "Oh, come on,
Push. Yeah.
can you challenge him to the camera?
Yeah.
Will you bench your dog?
What do you
Jack
bench,
Edwards.
mate? You put it,
Come to Melbourne.
put it on the line, mate. Put it on the line. We're hearing all these big talk about your push, pull, clean, snatch, overhead
This is
press.
the thing,
fucking
Jack doesn't talk like
handstand,
this.
handstand.
This is like literally everyone else.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter because I'm hearing all this shit and I don't see you anywhere around here. So,
Where are you, mate? Where are you?
Kickback guys, like, oh, fuck, I heard you talking shit, yeah?
No, he's so chill. Like, nicest bloke ever.
Yeah, well, what do you bench?
yeah, exactly. Where you
matters,
at?
mate.
What's your Briggs? Where's your Briggs at? Where's your Briggs? Alrighty, so you're in. And I
I'm
think
in.
Brandon Accardi's in as well. So
Yeah,
the couple-
Jacob as well.
Oh,
2IC
Jacob.
of general physical
Yeah,
preparation.
so shouts out. So tell the
Didn't
people.
realise he was scheming. He thought he could beat me.
He's scheming. Look, Jacob is scheming.
bro,
So
everyone's scheming.
Jacob
It's
is
mad.
the other man behind GPP.
General
so
physical
what's his
preparation.
involvement? Tell the people. With GP. Meme guy.
makes memes
He's a
for
meme
me,
guy.
oversees the program because I have no sense of objectivity when it comes to my own training. Keeps me in check, basically.
Fucking
But
hell.
I didn't realise he'd been committing heresy.
He's been committing heresy. So yeah, there's been some backdoor dramas. Wants to take out his boss, as we all do. Wants to beat Angus. In the
Everyone wants a
drum.
shot at the time.
He's quick. He's quick and he's heavy. He's running fast and he weighs 103 kilos. We've got to get his lifts up. So he's coming in Thursday. We're sorting him out.
Jacob weighs 103.
103.
How tall is he?
He's tall.
He's tall. He's tall.
He's tall.
Didn't he fill in with your basketball
Filling
as
our
well?
basketball team and got teched because he swore.
You got
Look, granted, our league is extremely like they don't like swearing. He didn't swear at anyone. He was just one of those like you make him say, "Oh fuck," and then he was off the court for 3 minutes. He was so confused because like in in a lot of leagues you can sweat. They don't care. But
Wait, hang on. So tech belly is a 3-minute.
You have to be benched for 3 minutes.
Can you replace them, or you're down to 4 players?
No, you can replace them, but you have to be off the court for 3
How do you last? You swear all the time.
You constructed a 5-word sentence with 3 fucking.
I've mastered the I've mastered the turn around and swear quietly. I turnover last night. I was like you've got it. Otherwise, I'd be off the court I wouldn't play. I'd be off the court for the whole game.
Have you seen that meme with Conor McGregor, and he's talking to like a junior fighter, and he's like, what you got to do when you feel the pain? You got to grab the pain, squeeze the pain, and then throw the pain.
Biopsychosocial Connor. It's crazy.
Grab the fuck. Throw it away.
Yeah, he's quick. He'll be, for his body weight, I think he'll be like one of the fastest guys from what I've seen. Look, I'm not going to put any numbers out there, but he's quick. We've got to get his lift up. So we're gonna sort him out. Some newbie gains with pause bench.
What shit can we construct that Jacob's been talking?
I heard he's been talking shit about Jack up in New South Wales.
And about Angus.
He's not ready for that
yet.
He doesn't need that song.
He's been talking
It's
shit
like a
about Angus,
dunking contest or something like that. Like, height's his main asset right now.
All right, Matt, push, pull, run 2, shaping up.
Everyone's talking shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have so many enemies rocking up on the starting line.
well, we've had to increase the amount of people doing it, so we're going over 50.
That'd be huge.
It's gonna be mayhem.
It's going to be hectic.
It's going to be mayhem. October 7th, if you can, let us know. DM the page.
Can I request some sort of transparency in the adjustments to the Briggs formula?
Yeah, no, there'll be a formal press conference related to that. Yep.
All right, there we go. Everyone with the underweight BMI, I'm looking out for you. When you end up on the podium, it's because I said something.
It was.
So we'll get some adjustments. We're refining the process as you got it.
We have to.
You have to see it play out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It would be good, though. I'm pretty keen for it. So your GPP, do you reckon you're going to steer everyone's training towards it, or just...
I guess what, guys, we're all doing a mile run now.
No, like and by design, the program should never have to pivot like that, because if I had to pivot my training that much to prepare for a event like push pull run, then it wouldn't really be me fulfilling the ethos and the whole goal of the program. It is meant to be that just ultimate, like you are literally ready to do anything. If your brother hits you up like, oh, the anchor for their relay team's gone down, if there's, a swimming event, a triathlon, something like push pull run, your mate wants to go climbing on the weekend, it's like GPP is the most centered general physical preparation program on the market.
Nice.
Yeah, it's called GPP for a reason, mate.
Yeah. Well, it seemed, because that was the sort of crisis I was having. Everyone's like, you need a niche, you can't just run a cult of personality, which is literally what I did. And
still are.
Yeah, and still essentially are. But like, I didn't want to pivot. I don't want to be knees over toes guy. Like, because
imagine niching down that far.
What's another example? Like
to one ankle motion.
Or just being VBT guy, and then it comes out later that VBT maybe isn't that good of an idea for training, where you've gone all in on it with your brain. You're like, do I just keep beating this drum even though sort of, things have washed out in the long run? And I was sort of just reflecting on the things that I valued and the things that were meaningful to me and what my interests actually were in this space. And I was like, general physical preparation from an niching down somewhat perspective and like having something to market. I was like, what's the worst that could go in terms of like, what research is going to come out and be like, oh, it turns out everyone needs to train with like maximizing hyper specificity. Just felt confident like that.
It's bulletproof. You've got a bulletproof model.
Seems like it.
You found your niche in just creating what you deem to be the best approach to be GPP. That was a fuck. Yeah, I was pissed off with Angus. Your niche is being general, and like as being as general as you can.
That's the funniest thing you've ever done.
Just throwing fucks over the shoulder.
Can't a man clear his throat? Jeez, fucking hell.
Sorry, no, you're saying something.
You made a really good point.
Your niche is being like general, because obviously, like people go the strength route or the hypertrophy route or the body comp, fat loss, whatever it is. But you're like, nah, my niche is if you train alongside me in our approach, you're ready for anything. Like that's fucking your approach, which is cool. And not a lot of people do that. It's either, as I'm sure you're aware and you're fucking fully aware of, it's usually the people who train in the way you do. It's like athletes, like S&C, athletic development. But it's like having those elements in there just for your weekend warrior, everyday average Joe.
Well, and that's why it embodies a lot of my beliefs about strength and conditioning, that generally speaking, we could be having more general conversations and preparation in our specific sort of pursuits. But then in terms of what I'm the impact that I'm really trying to have at the level of Gen Pop personal trainers. I'm sick of this just treating you like a mini bodybuilder, just focusing on fat loss all the time. I would love it if the average consumption of personal training was basically like an interaction with an S&C coach. And it's weird because we almost act like all the market wants is fat loss. But I think back to my days at Fitness First, I had so many conversations with just Aussie battlers like, oh yeah, I don't want to get too big. I don't want to get too shredded. I just love playing footy with my mates on the weekend, or I want to be able to go for a run down the street and not have my knees ache and just be absolutely gassed. I'm like, oh, like there has been this craving for strength and conditioning in general population personal training consumption. And I just think in terms of, you know, everyone's talking about body dysmorphia, everyone's talking about making fitness sustainable and all these things. And like a lot of those things can come from watered down bodybuilding, but it's just not for everyone. And I just think, yeah, if every personal trainer had the skill set of a strength and conditioning coach, I think we'd be much better equipped to serve our market.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like so many people want to say that. The Aussie battler, fucking, I want to do whatever I want. But come in thinking it's like, oh, so what is your general goal? And I think that has to be fat loss.
I'll tell you why, because you put the sales lens back on. What's the main pain point?
Yeah, you got to get shredded for summer.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you don't feel like a man when you take your shirt off at the beach beside your wife. Then you bring it up because you know it's his biggest insecurity.
Yeah. And then he signs the line.
He's like, mate, I just wanted to. He's like, fuck, I just wanted to go for a kick with my kids.
Yeah. Fuck. It was like, yeah, but does your wife find you attractive anymore?
Better luck next year.
Oh, it's just so chat. Oh.
Yeah, literally.
I think we just worked something out. I think we've just like...
Yeah, I don't know. It's the most common goal every single time. It's like, yeah, we'll get you in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
No worries. Stop
Yeah,
eating.
you guys have seen and again, yous aren't like your classic Gen Pop PTs and stuff like that, but yous have been promoting essentially general physical preparation, like those sorts of concepts, and like people have heaps G'd up about it.
And like I think also like as we've steered more into this direction, like initially it was Buzz and Charlie. I mean, Buzz has always kind of done this type of thing, but I think you've made it a bit more clear, in more
Free
recent
thinker
times.
since day dot.
That's it, bro.
That's it, bro. OG,
2020 and
the
that.
originator.
Went for a fucking run.
And you
put the air bike out in the sun.
You cause some dramas in the industry, fucking upset some people. But anyway,
Yeah, that's it.
but yeah, obviously Charlie, as made a concerted effort to like learn more about this stuff and implement it with him, his clients. I'm dabbling here or there, nothing too crazy, but like it's almost like you look away from your. A lot of my clients, very strength focused, powerlifting, blah, blah, blah. But like even within them, like so many of them are like some of my clients, they're like, oh yeah, I did a half marathon 2 years ago. I'm like, how the fuck do I not know that? Like, we do push pull run or this and that, where all of us are going to do the Melbourne Marathon. It's like, you don't realize that people actually want to do these things. But when they come to you and all they see you doing is lifting weights, like, okay, cool, we'll lift weights.
But
then,
people thought you couldn't.
what's the thing? One, they thought you couldn't, but then we start doing like, oh, I actually might be mad to go for a run. I used to do that. Like people genuinely want to do these things, even within the more like strength focused, powerlifting focused like realm. Like there's very few people who exclusively want to do barbell work. Like it's just.
I'll never get back 5 years of the hardest training I ever did that was genuinely productive from an Olympic lifting perspective, but I would have been training far more generally and I would have been doing way more conditioning had I known it wasn't going to threaten my progress in weightlifting that much.
100%.
Probably would have had a bit of general carryover because I just wasn't that generally physically prepared. Like I hadn't had enough exposure of just general training. And then I'd been doing my power cleans in the corner and then some ex-footy player would come in, power clean my max on the first day. I was like, oh yeah, specific Ollie lifting trainings, heaps mad. Like
man,
just feel like the biggest tool when someone does that to you.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's this fear or like need to have to niche down from both performance and career on both of them. It's like the person that did the half marathon, they're like, oh, I'm a powerlifter now, so I have to hyper specialize. Or the kid that's like 22, 23 that comes in, like we had the conversation with someone the other day, a student that's like, oh, I got to niche down. It's like, no, you're doing fucking good, dude. Like just do everything and something will happen. I don't know. I think it's like it's this fear
for identity when you have no like sense of self.
Yeah. I don't know. It really is. It's like I have to niche down, and that'll equal performance in career or training. And it's like I feel like it just couldn't be further from the truth in both your development as a coach and then like as an athlete. Like you're just limiting yourself. You're limiting that base. You're limiting how many places you could shoot off from. Like it just doesn't. I don't know.
They say niching down, but what they're actually doing is just blending into a crowd. Whereas if you just focus on like it's such a cliche, trying to express your most authentic self. As Didier alluded to, you'll just naturally sort of fall into a niche. It'll sort of emerge around you. But yeah, just be like, I want to niche down into this thing. It's because you've seen a bunch of people doing something, you're like, I'm just going to copy that. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I just think what people see as niching down probably isn't having the effect that they think it is.
I feel like it, and again, not to just bash on sales again, but I feel like it
let's just run a train on it.
Just run a train on sales. I feel like because I've always like the coaches and stuff that it's always come as a reflection of yourself. It's always been like, well, what do you find interesting? What are your strengths as a coach, as an athlete, or whatever, and like lean into that more so than just being like, I want to help this specific person, which is just what we do as strength culture. Like we did a few years of like heavily into powerlifting, but then as our pursuits changed and our sort of like desire within health and fitness starts to move, and we just follow that, and then that becomes our new strength and what we're doing now. And I feel like we've only really just found our voice. I think it's the strongest voice we've probably had, honestly, in the last couple of months because of like us just following what interests us. But then I feel like if you're a young coach and you get told to niche down, it's probably because it's easier to speak the language of that niche. You can identify who that avatar is, like so much more easily because you can identify their pain points, weight loss. You can identify their struggles, who the person is, what their time available, like all of those sort of things, and you can start to craft what you're actually offering to the marketplace. Well, I ran out of oxygen there. Marketplace. You can actually craft your message and your direction so much easier because you've niched to an individual person. And then I feel like it just feeds back into that whole sales idea of like you're just trying to make sales, where I don't think that is actually ultimately what drives career fulfillment.
But you can just go and do something within reason, and if your passion for it just radiates and you are a decent communicator, it's like you'll be able to get people into it.
Yeah,
just I don't know. Be able to make content.
People can smell it if you're not. Again, that's the user term. People can smell if you're not being your authentic self, just by the way you write, the way you communicate, the shit you talk about. I don't know. People, whether knowingly or unknowingly, they can smell it in a certain way, and
everything becomes. There's more resistance. The old resistance. There's more resistance when you're coming from a place of not what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
When you've put this facade in front of you and you're like, I've got to speak in this way, or I've got to talk about these problems, and like it becomes, the job itself becomes more difficult, and the people you help you don't assimilate with as well because it's ultimately not what you want to do.
Yeah. I've always found it a little bit cringe, especially the conversation around like talking about being your most authentic self. But embarrassingly enough, when I do market research, I talk to people who are in my mentorship. I'm like, why are you guys here? They're like, oh, you just seem very authentic.
Yeah.
Is the main thing that sort of comes through. And I think especially in the online space, there is just this complete lack of trust. Whereas if people just trust that you're actually being yourself, and I say such silly things that I think there is an honesty sort of inbuilt with that, it just helps a ton.
Yeah. Marketing.
Because everyone just assumes that you're putting on an act whenever you're making content.
Yeah.
And then that's always the thing when like you meet some person who you followed online, and then it usually goes one of two ways. One, it's like, oh, they're just being themselves online. Or it's like, oh, okay, they're really different. And then it's like, it's weird how it kind of flows on from that, I guess, yeah. I don't have much to say there, BFI.
Yourself. I love your kit so much.
Thank you. I'm glad.
I love it.
This is me being myself. Like, if you don't like it is
Are we
what
breaking the fourth wall now?
I'm so sorry. I've caught myself like every 15 minutes just like giggling.
Yeah. I've noticed
I've just been like giggling, and it's just like I come to realise that every 15 minutes Didier's wearing the soft suit.
Didier's just done his, what are you in, peak week?
Taper week. I just did my first of 2 taper sessions.
Soft suit stays on for the entirety of taper week.
He sleeps in it.
100%, bro. Like, it's
all a
specificity,
mindset.
man. Like, it's the biopsychosocial nature of specificity. That's how we roll.
How are you feeling? Do you think push-pull run has impacted your your expression of strength?
Nah. Granted, and I always say this whenever people have asked, I'm not that fast at running, and I wasn't running that much. I think if you run 2 times a week, I mean, I play basketball once a week, always have, but like if you run twice a week for like less than 30 minutes, and I think, it's pretty fair to say that's just going to be a complete non-issue when it comes to fucking strength training.
Is it fair to say? Oh, you're a powerlifter. It is fair to say.
It is fair to say, yeah, because I've put a total up. Platform where it counts.
Yeah, I'll shut my fucking mouth.
Yeah, that's just, I was going to say that's sarcasm. Everyone knows it. But yeah, I think it's just, once again, like fucking, when it comes to running, like, I've tried it, I enjoy it, I want to get better at it, but like myself years ago would have thought, oh, but no, you can't do that. Because what do? In trying to niche down, you just follow what other people do who are where you think you want to be or where you do want to be, and they don't do it. And you're like, oh, but then once you see these guys who are fucking pushing strength, they're fit as well, it's like, oh, this is actually possible. And hopefully, like, you know, I suck at running. But hopefully, you know, through us doing this, people can start to realize, oh yeah, you can do both. And like, there's no reason not to. Like, if your reason, like, the reason should never be, oh, I'm not going to get stronger. Like, if you just don't like running or whatever the fuck, that's fine. Like, if you just want to strength train, do it. But like, I hope no one ever, and people will, but I really wish no one would ever fall into the situation where they think that, like, trying to get to like a 2 times bodyweight squat or 1.5 times bodyweight bench press, they're fucking going for a couple of runs a week and holding the back. It's just really not. Like, it's just really not. Like, it's, fuck.
It's actually insanity.
It really is, man.
Common belief. We're in a bit of an echo chamber, for lack of a better word. But outside of this bubble, like, the average understanding is that, like, 1 kilometer a week will just melt away all your gains. Despite the fact that those same people will sit and watch rugby games on the weekend and see these big, jacked aerobic athletes. There's just, they can't connect it.
They're massive.
Because when I got Alex Viada on the podcast, I was like, the inventor of hybrid training. How'd you come up with that one? He was like, mate, I was a rugby coach. It was just in front of me. I was like, damn, it was in front of all of us.
Always has been.
In this, like I said, you will get far in the fitness industry if you can just be honest about what's in front of you and not engage with the groupthink. And that makes me sound like that's such like conspiracy theorist rhetoric. But when you come back to the interference effect, it's like all of us, it was right in front of us.
You got to choose the right people.
The whole time, all of these sports.
It actually is wild, isn't it?
But someone will just say something. The big one that still gets to me is just all that research they talk about, like, oh, no one can tell when the spine's neutral. But you have a look at when they're setting them up in a neutral spine, and it's just this maximally extended spine with the entire rib cage oriented 2 feet in front of the pelvis. And they're like, oh, the naked eye can't tell what position the spine's in. I'm like, no doubt, like, exactly, but I'm like, I can fucking eye any PRI person is going to look at that spine and be like, that is not stacked in neutral.
Yeah, that was one of the takes.
Don't even care about lifting in neutral. It's just weird that the people most obsessed with it don't understand what neutral looks like.
Yeah, exactly. They always just extend the system. Yeah. That was one of your takes where I would just sit there and I'm like, how do you... So it's such a simple thing that I think we've all probably seen. We've all probably looked at, like, these people that talk about, like, everything needs to be neutral, all this sort of stuff. But in reality, it's always just these people are all just extended. Like, you've just pushed them, like what's his name? Squat you.
Aaron Horseshit.
Aaron, yeah. Aaron, he would be...
He's so posteriorly compressed.
And get him
Ron Husk would cringe at that ribcage.
Yeah. But, like, that would be... Did you see...
Elon Musk?
Elon Musk. Oh, we got to talk about
the most posteriorly compressed person ever. It's crazy.
Well, did he go on Scott University?
PRI nightmare. I bet you can beat bench press like 140 without training though.
We've got to talk about that fight. But before I go there, did you see Adam Meakins absolutely flame Andrew Locke and squat you with
Here's the thing though. Meakins is another one where he keeps talking about it's okay to lift with a flex spine, yet will extend the absolute shit out of his T-spine every time in the starting position and then just get yanked out of position. And I'm not even saying it's more injurious where I'm like, dude, I'm like, have you thought about setting up flex?
100%. Like, I love Adam Meakins, but then, like...
Yeah, I love him. I
love him. Like, he's got such good content. He fights a good fight. But then when he deadlifts, like, man...
Can't go wrong getting strong. Getting strong.
Legit, it's like, yeah, I get it, man. You don't have to keep your back flat, but you probably just deadlift more. If you did, it's probably just a better way to deadlift.
But what it is like, he just can't hold his shape off the floor.
Correct.
And again, it's not going to create any more injuries, but it's not going to help you get any more weight on the bar because you have a look at a lot of top deadlifters. I know there's no hard data on it. Most of them seem to hold their shape really well off the floor.
Correct.
Yeah, hold the position.
He just goes for it. He's like, I'm just going to yank this bar up and whatever happens, happens.
Being shit at lifting weights isn't a crime.
No, it's not a crime. But given that he's really holding the torch for, like, you don't have to avoid flexion. It's like, I wish you just had a bit better technique. Like, fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to, like, follow suit with him. Not that it's...
Do you reckon embrace said flexion?
Yeah,
your starting
that's it.
position, like, because it's and that's the thing. It's like there's what you say about movement, but you can tell someone's like inbuilt beliefs about movement in their behavior. You can say that certain positions are fine, but I'm like, show me you leaning into them then in your training. Like, let me see that.
That is easily the biggest call out of Adam Meakins I've ever heard.
Can I continue? This is one I've been nervous about because I love him as well, but I feel like this is a safe space. Lehman. Greg Lehman, legend of the game when it comes to just human beings thinking they're resilient. He's riding his little 1 foot half pipe in his backyard. He's got like a harness on. I'm like, man, like I took it really personally. It really messed with me because I was like, man, this is such a legend of the game. This is like the godfather of resilience.
You think he's been too safe?
World. Yeah. And I know, like, you can't adapt to, like, falling off your skateboard and breaking your arm. Like, it's harder to get that graded exposure, but just in terms of, like, who you are and how you live your life.
Maybe everyone's a moving optimist until in their 40s and they have kids and they can't afford to be able to walk.
But let me wrap this off with one last soft call out. I caught up with No Bullshit Physio. I think he used some of your podcast footage in some of his content. He started this thing called Hot Movement Optimus Summer. I'm trying to bro down with him in the DM. We're having some beers. I'm like, you like lifting heavy? Like, what's your max deadlift? He's like, oh, I don't really like lifting heavy. I'm just like,
oh, really? Nah.
You're the guy.
Don't meet your heroes.
Thought you're about that life. You're chastising other people for being fragilistic. You're like, no, I do sets of 10 on deadlift. I'm like, fucking push it. I love all those people, but the moving optimists have been getting to me lately because I'm like, they all, outside of barbell medicine, they all lift like shit.
Yeah, why are you wearing a helmet for when you're skateboarding?
Man, seatbelts, what are they for?
Yeah, you fucking.
All right, graded exposure to car crash.
Put me back in my box.
Oh, God.
I want to go. I have to pay more attention because the only deadlifting I see of Adam Meakins is he's doing like Jefferson curls or whatever, like
That's
full blown
normal deadlift.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he definitely deadlifts.
He definitely deadlifts. I don't think I've seen them.
Yeah, it's shit.
It's not great.
Yeah, it's just
like,
from like a performance outfit.
And then like there was that one time that like he fucked his back like visibly in the video, and then all the anti-flexion people like, see? I'm like, oh no, like he's allowed to be injured.
But that's why he's a legend because he put it all on
whole
the line,
rehab,
and he did it publicly. And it could have been, he was so honest about it. He's like, yeah, today's a rough one. He's like, and I'm having the doubts come in. Like, you know, I know what I believe, like objectively, but then when you're in the situation, it was hard. That's why I said, like, respect.
Legend.
No,
huge respect.
He's a
Absolutely
legend of the game.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just go to shit.
But bro, just DM me. I'll sort your deadlift out. Uzi.
DM me, Adam Meakins.
All right, the last conversation I want to have is Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg.
Wait, wasn't it? In jiu-jitsu?
No, so initially I think they said boxing, and then Elon Musk was like, why don't we just go full MMA? And then
Isn't Dana White promoting it now?
And Dana White's like on board with
shirts. He's wearing shirts on Instagram already. Musk versus Zuckerberg.
I think it's actually going to happen.
Because I saw Friedman like doing jiu-jitsu with Mark Zuckerberg. He's like, can't wait to like spar, whatever the fuck with.
Dude, it's Zuck.
With, Elon
whatever
Musk.
method he wants, whatever second he wants.
You reckon?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't. He's like 30 kilos heavier.
Have you seen him
I haven't
roll
seen Zach
around?
train.
He looks like he knows what he's doing.
He won a-
But
won
can
a
you
comp
do that to a
recently.
30 kilo heavier dude?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
Elon's useless. Outside of that ribcage.
Honestly, jiu-jitsu, it's a matter of just you could muscle a guy that's like got 30 kilos on you for about
Someone who doesn't
30
know
seconds.
grappling.
And then you're dead.
Yeah, I had a very I've done like maybe like 10 classes of jiu-jitsu, had like 2 years off, went in against the purple belt. I was like, I'll just muscle him. I'm pretty fit.
Nah.
I knew what was going to happen. I'm like, I'll muscle him for about 30 seconds. And I did. And then he just
You got rinsed.
sorted me out. Sorted me the fuck out.
How'd he tap you?
Oh, it was, I don't even remember at this point. He tapped me a few times.
Just taint pressure on the throat.
On the throat or the taint? What were you saying?
He got his taint.
On your throat. Fucking hell. Who's your daddy?
So you reckon Zuckerberg
Zuck's fit,
comfortably?
man. He
easily?
ran like a 20-minute 5K or 19-minute 5K or
It was a
something.
solid 5K.
Yeah, but what's he been?
He's on his TRT arc.
You reckon he's on TRT?
No, actually, he seems like the kind of dweeb who wouldn't be into it.
Nerd.
Yeah, wouldn't do push-pull run either.
Whereas, you know, Elon's going to be on the Christian Woodford protocol.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, he'll come in fucking half cyborg, I reckon.
But he won't train though. He won't train for it. He'll just
Do you
fucking...
reckon you could download a BJJ Neuralink program just straight in your brain, and all of a sudden your body just starts?
That's his only chance.
Didn't he kill like 20 chimps trying to get one in the brain?
Probably.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a body count there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently
He's trying to put a computer in your brain.
Neuralink got a
conservative
tap on the
number.
shoulder from the government being like, we said you could kill a couple of chimps, not that many.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Surely there'd be some underground.
And meanwhile, Elon's like tweeting, he's like, nah, 6 months, it's going
We're close.
into human. Yeah. It's like, all right, buddy.
Who's the first person to get one? Oh, they're talking though it's going to happen through like that rehab space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, that's got to be like when they talk about like the ethics of like when you can approve a study on like spinal flexion or something like that. Because I'm assuming it'll be people trying to overcome certain disabilities and things like that. Then the ethics of signing them up to put chips in their brains. Future is now.
That's very wild.
It's actually wild. So, all right. So, Elon, so you all reckon Zach.
Is anyone backing Elon?
Oh, fuck you all. I'll back Elon then.
Fuck. So you think just size, punching power, bit of lane?
I think, I just, Elon's pretty good at life. I reckon he'll do it.
Zach's fitter and he's an alien, so he's just like, I reckon he's got that.
He's an alien.
He looks like an
Elon's a
alien.
fucking alien as well.
They're both aliens, but Zach really looks like an alien. I believe it.
does.
I believe he's a lizard
It
person.
will be the biggest fight
I was about
ever.
to say, which one of them is a lizard person?
He's the lizard person, 100%.
Yeah, Zach's the
His
lizard.
eyes aren't human. It's fucking weird.
Have you seen him drinking water in Congress or whatever?
It's just
That's
weird
what
as.
blew his cover. That and the barbecue sauce on the shelf in his house. What? He's got he tried to make some candid videos for Meta, and he's just sort of at home. He's like, oh, didn't notice the camera there, and on his bookshelf there's just a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's, and everyone just makes the joke like, obviously he knows humans love barbecue sauce, but he didn't know that we don't put it there.
Put him on the bookshelf. Oh, wow.
You seen his smoking meats video?
No.
That's insane. It was like when he was announcing Facebook Live as a feature. He's like, so he was just smoking a bunch of meats with his mates in the backyard.
And that's how he did
And just the amount of times, there's a drinking game you can play when he says smoking meats. You won't make it out the other end.
That's the key. That's the key word that people like. If you smoke meats, you're gonna be fucking popular.
Maybe he really does like barbecue.
He does. Yeah, he does.
All right. Yeah, crazy.
Smoking meats and jiu-jitsu.
All right. So 3-1.
Yeah.
All right.
I back the
You're all Zach.
Do you watch much combat sports or?
Nah. I just watch when the big guys.
the YouTubers.
No, not even. I watched the highlight reel of that. I watched the highlight reel of a Jake Paul fight. And then, no, just like the big one. So like John Jones, I watched that one. That was cool.
He's a fucking
him and Ngannou
sociopath.
face
Oh
off.
yeah, he's
He's a sociopath. He's got some
Demons.
things. Yeah.
Did you see him in the cage? He was cornering his mate, but he was giving Ngannou the show. Like he did his walkout moves and his cage entrance moves,
No, I
and
didn't
Ngannou
see
was
it.
just sort of watching from the front row. He's like, yeah, get you in there, and they had a bit of a face off.
I saw a thumbnail of a face off. I didn't click into it, but that would be. Who do you reckon would win that?
I just can't split that one. It's just I can't process in my head John Jones losing because I've watched that entire career and he is just the man. Say what you want about his outside the cage antics, but to be undefeated at that weight class is insane. Like Khabib being undefeated at lightweight, insanely competitive division. But at light heavyweight, especially when John Jones entered that division, it was the most talent stacked division. It's so easy to get finished as a light heavyweight. He's the man.
Is that because they can just knock you out straight away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consequences. Whereas at straw weight and stuff like that, like, yeah, they're arguably a bit more skilled, but you can get hit. You can eat a shot.
Yeah.
Light heavyweight's like the 93s of powerlifting. So it's like it's just mad. Like you're that combo of fucking athletic, jacked, powerful. Like it's
There's top 10 UFC heavyweight fighters that just don't know jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because there's a big guy punching power. He like almost made
Well, isn't
the
that
NFL.
Francis?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he learned how to wrestle. Like, because when he fought Cyril Gahn for the belt, he out-wrestled him. Like, that's how he won the last couple of rounds.
how
He
was
ended up
Jones and
deciding
Garn
it.
finished? Is that a decision?
Jones just went in there, put him in a
the first
headlock,
round.
and made him tap in 30 seconds. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Because
And then Garn
Cyril's
and
just been
Ngannou
dunking
went
on the
5
whole
rounds,
heavyweight
didn't they?
division. And Garn and Ngannou had a hard fight.
Yeah, that was
John
5
Jones
rounds. Wasn't
went
it?
in there and did
30
the
seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but he has the same, like when people talk about certain freak athletes having that like slightly sociopath, narcissistic sort of vibes. Like people talk about
Kobe
those
Bryant.
qualities in John Jones absolutely has those qualities.
Yeah.
Because when he did his comeback interview on Joe Rogan, he was like drag racing his car and hit a pregnant lady, fled the scene, came back because he left a bit of cash in the front seat in his weed pipe. Anyway, so they're sort of talking about that on Rogan. He goes, lucky you didn't kill that lady. He goes, yeah, it would have been so bad for my career. And it was just the way. So I was like, you don't have any empathy in you. It must be so helpful when you're in there trying to
When
harm
you're trying
another
to
human.
kill a person in a cage.
He's
Yeah.
about it.
15 to 20 minute videos, compilations of him just saying busted shit.
Yeah.
And like you just look at him and you're just like, oh my God.
And then in his
you feel
last
nothing.
steroid
Like-
ban, he became like an expert in like the whole tactical side of things. Like he's real good with assault rifles and stuff now. He's such a hectic dude.
Oh, wow. No good.
No good.
No good. No.
Well, Lucky is a good athlete.
He strikes me as the
Go
kind of
Jones.
guy who's just sitting there in Albuquerque. He's like, please break into my house. Like, make my day.
I knew a guy that trained with him when he was at Jackson's, and he was just like, in between sessions, all he would do is just, John Jones, that is, not the guy I knew, is just bags and shooting guns.
Great.
That's it. That's all he would do, is just America, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, fly the flag.
Fly the flag.
That bald eagle.
Rock flag
Put John
eagle.
Jones with a bald eagle on your back with an American flag and soar like an eagle.
And then push-pull run underneath
Push
it.
pull run underneath.
Okay, we'll put together, some sort of collage tag. Okay, yeah, I like the sound
We want
of that.
some real estate.
No, I can't get John Jones.
Don't do that.
Come Zuck with a hand raised next to him.
Baby race.
And then
Sweet baby
and
race.
then get Nassim Taleb and Mark Ripto in the
I still can't believe that they're mates. That's wild to me.
that photo is just so good.
Can't tell you how long I stared at that photo for when I found it. I think I lost a few hours.
Oh.
It's incredible. So you got 2 tickets left for Sunday.
2 tickets. Hopefully they'll be gone by the time this podcast
This goes up on
come out,
Thursday.
in which case, right. So I'm on this week. Oh, amazing! Snap up those tickets, please. Give me a sellout in Melbourne. Come on.
Done. That's it. We'll see you on Saturday. Thanks for coming down again, and we'll see you next time.
Absolute pleasure.
Ciao. The fact that you've made it to the end of all the shit talk tells me that you're somebody who probably aligns with our style of training and just us as people, which means we would love to work with you. We have 3 main ways in which you can work with us. We have our full comprehensive gym membership and coaching service. That's for those who are in the area of Moorabbin and want to use our gym. The second is our online coaching services, where you'll be connected with the best suited coach, and we'd work with you in a one-on-one online format to make sure your training program and nutrition strategies align with your goals for performance outcomes. Third and finally, we have our training app. And as a listener of the podcast, you can get a free month of the app by using the code PODCAST. Both the coaching services and the link to the podcast will be down below. Please check them out. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me personally on Instagram, and I'll be happy to chat. Also, if you could give us 5 stars on Spotify or YouTube or even a Google review, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.